So I'm just around the corner from Checkmate's training centre. Me and a couple of members of their team are going to do some training. I believe it's all about first time fire stopping. So should we see how it goes?
And here we are in the Checkmate facility. Of course, the first thing that we had to do was get all of our PPE on. Safety first. That's high vises, gloves, hard hat, caps and goggles. We had the amazing Damien Ward, Checkmate's technical director, guiding us through our training session. He split us into two groups. Gavin Slatterly, the Chief Development Officer, and Sophie Calverley, the Chief Financial Officer, Team 1. And Group 2 was myself and my teammate Jonathan Marsh, Checkmate's Chief Operating Officer. So a lot of chiefs. Team 1 decided to take this hole here with just the cable tray in it, which left us stuck with the much harder one with two pipes of differing sizes that came through at different levels. You have to measure the gap as a whole, as well as the distance from the item running through the middle of the wall to each side. For us, that also included the gap between the pipes. While Team 1 wasted no time in measuring, Jonathan and I spent some time trying to work out what we wanted to do to tackle this cutting. Even once we started measuring, it took us a whole lot longer. Maybe because ours was a little bit more difficult, or maybe we were just worse at it. Definitely one of those two. Once you have those measurements, you want to cut the bat to fill those holes. Damien said that the easiest way to do this was to make two halves that can be placed above and below the item, sandwiching it in the middle. The way we ended up doing this was by cutting a rough shape first, going up the ladder to see if it fit, and then making correction. Trying hard to undercut each time, because just like an argument with the in-laws, you can't take things back. This is where Damien was kind enough to tell us that actually, ours was even harder than we first thought.
Because that's a plastic pipe, you've got to add this as well. Either those or those.
Okay.
Because they're plastic pipes, in the case of a fire, this pipe is just going to melt away, leaving a massive hole for the fire and the smoke and the heat to go through. So you need either a collar or an intermittent pipe wrap that will expand to fill the hole when it senses a fire. We were told that the wrap was easier, but looking back, I think I would have chosen the collar. We had to wrap each pipe 3 times, and in practice it sounds okay, but this is a lot harder when you have to consider that the pipe is already in between a wall and right next to another pipe, so there's not much wiggle room. And the tape is tacky as well. So here, where Jonathan tried to wrap further down the pipe and push it back, you can see just how well that went. We haven't even started cutting yet, and you can see Sophie and Gavin sailing along, already about to put their first piece in. Here you can see Sophie is placing her bat next to the cable tray and putting some marks in just to make sure that her measurements are correct. For us, the pipes are round, so it's a little bit more hard to eyeball, but we use the same tactic. If I sound bitter, don't worry. It's only because I am. Just joking, of course. It was a great session, and I think that getting chucked in at the deep end really gave me some admiration for those who do this every day and make it look easy. Now everything's cut and measured, we have to place it in, but you can't do that dry. Fire stop bat is a great material. It's quite crumbly on the edges, so it isn't airtight. To remove this issue, you have to make sure that you install your bat wet. This means to cover all the green edges with mastic. Once it's all covered, you slot it in, trying not to scrape that mastic off, and then you put a final line around the edges and smooth it down to make it look nice. And here we are, the final results. Why don't you leave a comment down below with the team that you think did better, and if you think either of these would actually pass an inspection. I'll leave you with Damien's final thoughts, but before I do, I just want to say a huge thank you to the Checkmate team for inviting me down and allowing me to do this. It was a great experience, and again, so eye-opening to see the kind of stuff that contractors do every day. I also want to specifically thank my teammate Jonathan. You carried us.
Walk us through both of them. What's your opinions on our job?
Well, that one was a really hard one for a start. So this one was a bit more straightforward because it was only a cable tray and it's obviously nice and straight. That one's trickier because it's 2 plastic pipes at 2 different levels and you need to use more than one product. So that's obviously just fire bat and mastic. That's bat, mastic and an intumescent wrap. So that one is a lot more difficult.
So how long did we take, and how long would it typically take?
Right, how long, what time is it? Yeah, 1 hour and 20 minutes. That should take about 20 minutes maximum.
Can you say what's wrong with this? Or did we do that?
There's not enough compression on the side, so you can see a gap on the right-hand side of the opening, and then the gap between the 2 cut bats is too big. Then this wrap on the right needs to be in the bat, and I'm just protruding by about 5 mil. This one is close. That one needs to go right in.
And was there anything wrong with that one? Or was that pretty perfect?
Actually, that one was good. That one was good. It needs to be a bit of mastic on this side, but yeah, it was.
So you say there needs to be mastic on this side, but if you can't get to this side, is that possible?
You would have to use a lot more mastic from the opposite side. Oh. So you would obviously overcompensate, so it's almost falling out this side.
Right.
It doesn't then look as nice, but
yeah,
that one was a lot simpler. Difficulty, 2 out of 10, 8 out of 10.
Also, there's harder ones than that.
That's a harder one, yeah.
But is there?
This is a harder one. You look how.
Oh, with everything.
Yeah, it's going to make.
Wow.
So that's much harder.